Okay, with this, I think we're ready to start. So, thank you all for joining today to the Vega C announcement of awardee side event. Um, this is the agenda for today. I will start off with a short introduction of the Access to Space for All initiative, and then we will go into the actual fun part of announcing the awardees of the event, announcing the awardees of this program. So, first of all, I would like to start off with a short introduction of what Access to Space for All is, and as you can see here, the goal of our initiative is to provide research and orbital opportunities to UN member states to access space and to ensure that the benefits of space are accessible to all. And Access to Space for All is a space technology capacity building activity that we have in the office. As many of you, I hope you know, through the office we do a lot of different capacity building, but Access to Space for All is really focused on space technology. And on the left side of the screen, you can see the different core values of the initiative that we have there. So through the initiative, we provide access to unique ground and space infrastructure, technology, and information, and we do this free of cost. The participating teams will be able to acquire cutting edge skills for jobs and other opportunities, and we help develop hands-on capacity starting from A to Z. So starting really small, easier skills and going up to complex skills. Through the initiative, the participants will be able to gain international cooperation experience through working with the UN, and in this case, I'm working with Italy in the sense of Avio and Arianespace. And of course, it brings visibility to the R&D and space activities that are done in the country and region. And last but not least, it really motivates the young generation and boosts interest in STEM. And this is one of our goals of the initiative. In the middle, you can see our initiative in numbers. We have 9 hands-on opportunities, 1 annual fellowship, and we have 27 awardees involving 42 entities from 30 countries. And today we'll be expanding that as well. And of course, our initiative is focused on contributing to the SDGs. We focus on SDG 4, quality education, 8, decent work and economic growth, and of course 9, industry innovation and infrastructure. But of course, the different activities will link to different SDGs as well. And here in this slide, you can see the impact of the initiative. Participation in the initiative has really led to more partnerships, opportunities, media coverage, and in some cases, development of new departments, new infrastructure, and in some universities and research institutes. So it has really had a big impact to the people who have joined. And it not only raises interest in space and STEM, but it can really lead to more investment in STI, science, technology, and innovation. Just to show you what our Access to Space for All initiative looks like in terms of hands-on components, you can see the 9 different activities we have here. And the one we're focusing on today, Vega C, is in the satellite development track. And the satellite development track is really aiming to build capacity that enables development, deployment, and operation of satellites. We have these 3 hands-on opportunities, but of course we have webinars and workshops and everything that helps the educational component as well. So if you're interested in the Access to Space for All initiative, please take a look at our website. We have one-pagers as well that my colleagues can help share. But it's really, we have tons of different programs. A lot of workshops and webinars will be happening in this year. So yeah, please stay tuned. So with this, I'd like to go into the fun part of actually announcing who the awardees are for the Vega C opportunity. So with this, I'd like to invite Niklas Hedman, who is the acting director of UNOOSA, to give the opening remarks and announce the awardee.
Thank you indeed. So our representatives from Avio, the ambassador of Italy, ambassador of Kenya, and also I see the team leader and professor from the University of Nairobi joining us virtually. Welcome. Dear colleagues, friends, I warmly welcome you all to this side event organized by the Office for Outer Space Affairs and Avio, our valued partner of the Vega C program under the Access to Space for All initiative. I'm happy to see that this room has quite many participants, if not full, but we have even more participants joining us online. The beginning of our partnership with Avio dates back to 2019 when we signed a memorandum of understanding. The MOU stems from the mutual recognition of the need to make space more accessible with the launching of CubeSats, representing a unique opportunity for many countries, as we know. Under this agreement, Avio offers a launch slot for a CubeSat of the selected team for free. greatly boosting the affordability of projects. Thank you. As CubeSats themselves are becoming cheaper to assemble, this joint effort opens avenues for teams from developing countries to embark on a space journey. CubeSats offer a large variety of applications, and their deployment can be the first step for a country to acquire the skills and know-how needed to develop a national space program. This is exactly the spirit of Access to Space for All initiative. We provide capacity building through hands-on opportunities, not only as a standalone effort, but with a broader mission of yielding long-term results. This way, we can ensure that the benefits of space, in particular for sustainable development, are not only accessible, but eventually developed nationally and locally. And we are pleased to work with great partners in these endeavors. All the programs in the Access to Space for All initiative are only made possible thanks to the support we receive from established space actors who provided access to ground and space-based infrastructures. And today, we are announcing the first awardee of the joint Vega C program. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Avio for their cooperation in realizing this opportunity. In Avio, an established launch service provider, we have a partner with abundant experience and technological knowledge developed through their Ariane and Vega programs. The opportunity captured a lot of attention, resulting in highly competitive process with multiple applications reflecting indigenous ideas from different countries. After careful consideration, we picked the awarded team. UNOOSA and Avio are pleased to announce that the consortium led by the University of Nairobi in Kenya and joined by the University of Arizona from the United States and a non-profit organization, Space Trust, is the first awardee of the Vega C program. Congratulations. It is exciting, thank you. It is exciting to see Kenya expanding its space efforts through continuous involvement in Access to Space for All. Teams from Kenya have already been awarded multiple opportunities such as KiboCube, Bartolomeo, and Isonscope. This only underscores the growing appetite for space in the country, as well as the continuous effort to advance their ideas and proposals. We hope that through the Vega C program, the newest CubeSat will drive the momentum even further and contribute to sustainable socio-economic development and achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. No less by inspiring the young generation to pursue education and careers in STEM fields to help Kenya in growing its national space endeavors and economy. The Office for Outer Space Affairs stands ready to continue supporting Kenya in the development of space activities in areas such as space economy, space policy and law, space technology, data and applications. I look forward to our continuous collaboration. Thank you for your attention and good luck with the future activities under the Vega C program.
Thank you very much, Niklas, for the opening remarks and announcing the awardees. Next, I'd like to give the floor to our partners. So Mr. Angelo Fontana, who's the Vice President and Vice President of Strategy and Innovation at Avio, and to Mr. Fabrizio Fabiani, who is the Program Manager of the Vega program at Arianespace. I will share my screen, so give me a moment while I do this, but please feel free to begin.
Well, while Hazuki is preparing a short presentation, I can say thank you to UNOOSA for giving us the opportunity to share this initiative. We are so thrilled to do this, And congratulations to our to the University of Nairobi, to Professor. And thank you, Director, for your words about Vega, Vega C, Avio. Let me thank you also, I would say Italy, the institutions, the ambassador, and also our agency, without which all of this would not be possible. You know that in Europe, space works with huge institutional funds, and we're very glad to be part of this system. There would be so much to say about Vega. I've been asked by Hazuki to resume this in 10 minutes. I can. You have already been introduced. Avio and Arianespace work together to make this possible. Avio is the launch vehicle provider, so we make a launcher. We do launches. This is our job, and Arianespace launches this for us, knowing that they look for customers to put inside the payload fairing, and they launch, they operate the launch. So we have been doing this for decades by now, and this is how space in Europe works. So all the European launchers, like Vega, must be launched from the Guyana Space Center and launched by Arianespace. That is why both of us are here today. I represent the launcher itself, the vehicle going to orbit, and he represents the one who make this, who operate the launch, who push the button and look for the customer as well. So such an important role. Oh, here we go. So you can go to the next slide. I was saying before, talking about Avio and Vega C in 10 minutes, it's not possible. I'll try my best to do it. We are a company, a public company. We have gone public in April 2017. We are more than 1,200 employees. 4 years ago, we were around 800, meaning that the space segment attracts many funds, many operations. That is why we grew so fast. And this is what we do. So you have on the left-hand side, you have the Ariane 5, and this is Ariane. The participation of Avio to the Ariane program is our beginning in space. Not Ariane 5, of course. At that time, we had Ariane 3, Ariane 4, then Ariane 5. And in the future, next year, hopefully, even the end of this year, we will have the Ariane 6, so the new version of Ariane, for which Avio acts like a supplier to Ariane Group. We do the propulsion elements. You see the boosters on both the sides of the core of the launcher. By the way, this guy flew 150 times, so this means that we manufactured and delivered to Ariane Group 300 of boosters, which worked flawless. So we are very proud about that. And this marks the beginning of our history in space. We made a giant step forward in space with the guy that is on your right-hand side, so the Vega. Why? It marked a big leap for us in our activities, because for this launcher, we design, manufacture, test, integrate, and deliver to Arianespace an entire launcher. So we were supplier of propulsion before. Now we are launch system operators. Okay, so it's again, for us, it's a big step forward in our activities. Next, please, Hazuki. This is our place in the launch segment. So we are at the very beginning of this, how can I say, value chain. Without launchers, you don't go to orbit. It's very simple and plain, but of course, we cannot go to orbit without a satellite, and that is why we're here today, to celebrate our Kenyan friends. So they provide the satellites. They need ground stations to talk with the satellites, of course, and then they will receive services from the satellites. This is how it works from the smallest one, a CubeSat, to the biggest one. Of course, to the benefit of whom? End users. And we are the users of this value chain. Whoever is here can operate a GPS, can upload images from Google, whatever, can see the weather conditions on his mobile phone. And I could continue, but let's go ahead, please. Next slide. Oh, I told you, this is our track, this is our history. Just to highlight that today for us means Vega C, so an evolved configuration of Vega. And by the way, let me talk about this. Vega flew, have been flying for 10, 11 years by now, and we flew 20 rockets. And now we started with Vega C, which flew 2 times with our maiden flight in July 2022. And Ariane 6 is the new launcher of the European fleet, the big launcher. Vega C is the medium light one. Ariane 6 is the big launcher of the European fleet, and it will use, this is very important to us, it will use the same component, the same elements of Vega C. So what is the first stage for us, for Vega C? It will also be the booster for Ariane 6. So from an industrial point of view, it's great for us too, because it makes volumes for us, production volumes. So you can go ahead, please, Hazuki. Where we are. So our plants are located in Colleferro, 50 kilometers away from Rome. Our headquarters are in Rome. We have bureaus in Paris, along with Ariane Group and Arianespace. And we also run 3 facilities at the Arianespace Center, where we run facilities for solid propellant manufacturing and for integrating the Vega and the Vega C launcher. Go ahead, please. This is our evolution roadmap. Very important, because on the left-hand side, you have, at the very beginning of the slide, you have our legacy products, so Ariane 5 and Vega, as I was saying before. And now today, 2023, we are operating Vega C, you see in green, and then will be Ariane Group, of course, will be operating, delivering to Arianespace, the Ariane 6, which is the new version of Ariane 5. So the European fleet is about to renew their launchers, more powerful, cheaper, hopefully. And let's have a look, because this is important for today's discussion. Let's have a look at what is in between Vega and Vega C. You see it is called SSMS. What is this? It's a payload adapter. Why am I saying that? Because very likely your satellite will be will be integrated inside a structure named SSMS. That means Small Satellite Mission Services. It's particularly suited for small satellite that wants to go to space. And very likely we will use this element to carry the Kenyan satellite. Next, please. Our partnership, what is all about? I said before, we are this is the last slide, and then I will leave the floor to Fabrizio. Accessing space with Vega C, we are very happy to contribute to this program, giving you the opportunity to enhance your capability in space, building further, because you already have capabilities, we know. And this is just one of 3, at least 3 initiatives that we signed in the Memorandum of Understanding. It's just the first example of this cooperation. So we are very glad to continue this one with other participants, I don't know, and give this opportunity to non-spacefaring countries, meaning that we have a launcher, we have satellite industry, you are about to enhance your capabilities. So again, for the last time, once for all, we are very happy to give you this opportunity. And I leave the floor to my colleague and friend, Fabrizio. As I said before, we provide a launcher, they provide a service. So Fabrizio works for Arianespace and will talk to you about the launch itself, not the launcher. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Angelo, for introducing me. Thank you, first of all, thank you, UNOOSA, for having me today. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So I would like just to add a few words to what Angelo said. I don't know how much time I still have, but I think Angelo was very clear. So what is the responsibility of Avio, which is to provide a launcher flight worthy, so with a launcher that does not put in danger the satellite, and of course also the population from which the launcher lift off. And the role of and responsibility of Arianespace is to provide a service to all the customers who are launched with the Vega C and, of course, Ariane 5. I think that one part of the job has been done until now. So we are now to award the University of Nairobi of such opportunity. It is very important, and I'm very glad and very proud to be here today. Now we have to move on. We have to turn the page. We have to start a new trip, a new track, let me say, in order to work together, close together, in order to design the mission, to know which are your requirement, the customer requirement, and to translate such customer requirement in order to design a mission that fit your need and the need of all the customers who will fly with you, because as recalled by Angelo, of course, when we talk about the CubeSat small satellite, the mission are not, we call it a dedicated mission, but ride share mission. So mission where in one launcher, we can embark many satellites. For example, on VV16, the 16 mission on Vega, we embarked 52 nanosatellites, from microsatellites, nanosatellite, microsat, and so on. So it will be for sure a ride-share mission, or maybe what we call a piggyback mission, that is a sort of ride-share, but a little bit different, because in the piggyback mission we have one main passenger, one main satellite, and other auxiliary passengers, what we call it auxiliary passenger, in order to complete the mission and, of course, give the opportunity to all the customers who need. So I'm very eager to start to work with you, and to start the second step of this trip that I think it will be very exciting for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our partners from Avio and Arianespace. Next, I'd like to invite to the floor His Excellency Mr. Alessandro Cortese, who is the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Permanent Mission of Italy to the international organizations here in Vienna. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Hazuki, and Mr. Hedman, dear Niklas, Ambassador Mugwanja, Mr. Fontana, Mr. Fabiani, distinguished delegates. I'm really very happy to be here today in this very significant event with a very distinguished panel. At the outset, I want to really commend UNOOSA and Avio for their very good and fruitful partnership. Their joining forces at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in the framework of the Access to Space for All initiative is really a best practice, which I believe we should always keep in mind as really a very good and excellent example of public-private partnership in a multilateral forum. And this is something which I try always to replicate also in other institutions present in Vienna. Now that Niklas has announced the winner, I really wish, so I have the opportunity, and I'm very happy to congratulate wholeheartedly the University of Nairobi first, Mr. Professor Mbuthia, and of course my dear colleague Ambassador Mugwanja, for being awarded this very important opportunity for the development of space capabilities. And this is a proof of the ability of researchers with very different experiences and backgrounds to contribute together to scientific discoveries. We must see this as an important step to achieve the, and I quote the Outer Space Treaty, the exploration and use of outer space for the benefit of all peoples, irrespective of the degree of their economic and scientific development. Every step toward this goal is a sign of the importance of the ideas of cooperation and mutual enrichment and of their relevance to the friendship between states. I am really interested in hearing, and I was very interested, I must say, in hearing more about not only the project, but the cooperation between UNOOSA and Avio. Dear colleagues, and of course, forgive me now a little bit of advertisement, if I may say so, of Italian advertisements. Forgive me if I take this opportunity to remind that Italy has been really a pioneer state in space discovery since we successfully launched our first satellite on the 16th of December 1964. So we're talking of almost 60 years. I'm just a little older, not much, but a little. And we were among the very first countries in the world to achieve the result. Third, yes, after the one you can imagine. Since then, we have been actively committed to the international cooperation to advance the study, exploration, and use of outer space. Our country also worked to raise the awareness of the general public on the underestimated contribution of space technology. I say underestimated because it's not very well known, to the everyday life, and I believe this is a fundamental task for all of us. And as an example, I was told on another occasion that, for instance, if you follow Formula One, a lot of things which happen there come from space technology. Italy strongly believes that such scientific potential must benefit all countries according to the principle of equality. Therefore, multilateralism with the UN at its core is the right platform to address these topics. As I mentioned during our national statement at COPUOS, the main meeting here on last Tuesday, only a cooperative approach can ensure that space activities are conducted for peaceful purposes and for the sustainable development of the humankind. For this reason, I want to reiterate that Italy fully supports the Access to Space for All initiative, and we hope to see in it more and more countries, especially the emerging one, to experience the same multiplier effect on investment that investment in space, of course, that Italian economy has experienced. Today, Italy's national space sector employs about 6,000 people in Italy and is an asset worth 2 billion euros in annual revenue, covering the whole value chain from the research, development, manufacture of enabling space infrastructure, the so-called upstream, to the manufacture of enabled innovative products and services, the so-called downstreams, which we just heard of. But let me conclude by saying that we are even prouder today because we are building on such results through Avio, so through an Italian company, to advance a truly global development agenda by making them available to other countries who are following our path. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And next, I'd like to introduce the Ambassador of Kenya, so Her Excellency Ms. Mary Wangui Mugwanja, who's the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Permanent Mission of Kenya to the international organizations here in Vienna. You have the floor.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Alessandro Cortese, the Ambassador Permanent Representative of the Permanent Mission of Italy to the United Nations, United Organizations in Vienna, Mr. Niklas Hedman, the Acting Director of UNOOSA, Mr. Angelo Fontana, Vice President and Strategy and Innovation, Avio, and Mr. Fabrizio, Program Manager, Vega Program, and this is Arianespace, S.A. Professor Mwangi Mbuthia, our team leader and professor at the University of Nairobi. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed a momentous occasion for Kenya, being honored with the opportunity to launch a 3U CubeSat aboard the Vega C rocket free of charge. Allow me to thank the United Nations Office for Outer Space, Avio, S.p.A, and Arianespace for this great opportunity under the Satellite Development Track of the Access to Space for All initiative. Let me at the onset recognize the historical relations that have existed between Kenya and Italy since 1960s on space matters. I am happy to know that these relations continue to grow as demonstrated by this event that underscores the strong collaborations that we enjoy. On behalf of the government of Kenya, I express our sincere appreciation to the government of Italy for this continued cooperation in this important sector. We look forward to further enhanced cooperation for the mutual benefit of both our countries. We celebrate another first for Kenya under this initiative, and in particular for the University of Nairobi having been a beneficiary of the first round of CubeSat program, and I've had two others that have been mentioned. Arising from that opportunity, the University of Nairobi has been able to consistently take part in space-related capacity building programs by the Kenya Space Agency since 2020 and other global opportunities. Over the last 5 decades, space exploration has pushed the frontiers of space and technology in many countries. Investment in space science and in the growth of an indigenous space industry is expected to feed back into the many areas of research, technology, development, innovation, and manufacturing capacities, which in turn will contribute to national development. This is why Kenya targets to have a viable indigenous space industry by the year 2030 and has made significant strides to achieve this. The 3U CubeSat that will be launched by the University of Nairobi in collaboration with the University of Arizona Space Trust aims to carry out a zero-gravity peace mission, whose objectives are to advocate space as a new frontier for peace, utilize outer space for innovative space diplomacy, provide an experience of the overview effect, and foster international cooperation. Most importantly, this award will highly contribute to building the capacity of Kenyan institutions in developing, launching, and operating space systems. Within the past 5 years, the awareness and interest in the space sector in Kenya has risen exponentially due to the feasibility resulting from the projects undertaken through the Access to Space for All initiative. It is our hope that Kenya continues to remain a beacon of success in the region in promoting and utilizing of space science, technology, and applications toward realization of the Sustainable Development Goals. This award also amplifies the in-country efforts by Kenya Space Agency of extending research grants to universities and supporting startups venturing in the space industry and to develop technologies and solutions to address societal challenges. The government of Kenya, through the Kenya Space Agency, is already supporting the University of Nairobi in this mission to ensure its successful development and launch. We intend to use this project as an opportunity for capacity development not only for the University of Nairobi, but also for other local universities in order to nurture the nascent indigenous space industry. Going forward, the government of Kenya is looking to increase investment in the space industry for research, development, and innovation, and build industries to support the development of space system and create employment opportunities for our youth, with emphasis on women to increase their representation. As I conclude in this regard, Kenya welcomes more partnerships with the international space community for the growth of space science and technology and utilization of space products and services for sustainable socio-economic development. We look forward to further opportunities to address the capacity gaps in our technical institutions, as well as explore the possibility of establishing a center of excellence for space technology in Kenya that will not only serve the country, but the region as well. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Next, I'd like to move on to a presentation of the project that we selected. So I'd like to introduce Professor Mwangi Mbuthia, who's the team leader and professor at the University of Nairobi, and also Dr. Mutugi Kiruki, who is also part of the team in the University of Nairobi. So Professor Mwangi, you can share your screen and you have the floor.
Yes, good afternoon. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. First, I would like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. But above all, as a Kenyan team, when we started on this journey, we were really looking to see whether we can place our name on the map. And I'm happy to be here today that Kenya has come this far. Without, of course, the help of UNOOSA, we would like to thank you very much the UNOOSA team, led by the former director, Mrs. Simonetta Di Pipo, who was actually did our maiden, was with us in our maiden journey to go to space. Also, I'd like to thank right now Arianespace and the Vega C directions they are going to make, and they have already made in getting us this far. The Italian ambassador, who is also in the panel, I would like to thank you very much for gracing the occasion. The Kenyan ambassador, and for those very kind words and forward-looking remarks, which are very, very helpful to my team. Distinguished guests, participants, and all your excellencies, welcome to my presentation. I hope I can see the first slide. Yes, thank you very much. We have a short presentation here to talk about basically our journey as a University of Nairobi. For us, this opportunity given to us by UNOOSA and Avio and of course Vega C launcher team is a very, very important milestone in the development of the capacity at both the University of Nairobi and Kenya. And we are very, very excited to be the first awardee of this particular opportunity. And it has come because at the University of Nairobi, after we got the first opportunity to launch our Wangui CubeSat through the CubeSat program, we did not actually stop our activities in the space sector there. So from that time, as we can see from the second slide, please. Let's go to the second slide. We launched the Kunz satellite, which was a 1U way back in 2018 through the CubeSat program. And again, Kenya was the first beneficiary of this particular program. And this was deployed from the ISS in May 2018. Here, I must mention again, we had a very, very important collaboration between the University of Nairobi and our Italian friends, especially at the University of Rome, S.p.A. And I would like to acknowledge the support we received from Professor Fabio Santoni, who was working with me in this particular project. Next slide. So after we had that experience with the CubeSat. The University of Nairobi was a recipient again of an award by the Kenya Space Agency to build a one new CubeSat that actually built on this momentum, and we were awarded a Kenya shillings, a USD 10,000 grant to build a one new CubeSat, which was a demonstration model. And the University of Nairobi emerged the winner of this particular competition. And we came with what we can call a nano-satellite platform, which we are now calling NASPON, developed at the University of Nairobi. And here I have some pictures of this one new bench model. Of course, it was not base grade. And after emerging the winners, next slide, the Kenya Space Agency was encouraged very much by what we did with the 1U, and they went on to grant us more money as a team of 5 universities, where again they selected the University of Nairobi to lead a bigger project, where we are now developing a 3U, and we have named it Tafiti. And again, the University of Nairobi is leading this particular development. And by this time, we have already gathered quite a bit of information, and we have done a design of a 3U CubeSat. And this one we are going to be presenting is a 3U engineering model, and the project is supposed to be concluded later this year. So given this activity, you can see that the University of Nairobi has systematically been building up to this particular award. And I should say that we are very much ready to successfully deliver this mission to Avio for launch through the Vega C. Next slide. Just to say something a little bit about our cooperation, the success of our application was really driven by this international cooperation that we put together between us at the University of Nairobi, the University of Arizona, and the Space Trust. This actually was probably one of the biggest contributors to us winning this award, because here we were able to gather a truly international cooperation between us and the University of Arizona and Space Trust, and to come up, as our ambassador has pointed out, with a very, very unique mission, which is trying to support diplomacy from space and making it space the first frontier for peace. And what we are looking at is recording messages of world leaders and then broadcasting them from space, and perhaps, and we do hope that this will help us promote peace on Earth. Next slide. Just a little bit about our team. We are at the University of Nairobi. Of course, we have myself as the leader of this team, and we have called this particular mission the NASPON OG Zero Gravity Peace Mission 2030. And I'm sure many other missions will come out of this. Then we have Dr. Mutugi Kiruki, who is my assistant PI and very well educated in terms of space matters. Then on the second row there, we have our collaborators, that is the University of Arizona, led by Professor Dante, who has been a principal investigator for the NASA OSIRIS-REx asteroid sample return mission, which is still ongoing, and the satellite is now heading back to Earth to arrive in September this year. And then we have Namila Salim, the executive chairperson of the Space Trust, and basically she is a brainchild of the Peace Mission Initiative, and we are very, very happy to be working together. Again, last but not least, I would like to stress the role that Kenya Space Agency has played in terms of helping us keep the momentum going at the University of Nairobi by first of all giving us that opportunity to build our new. So that meant that we have continuously been engaging with the students and been engaging with the staff members in trying to build this capacity within the University of Nairobi. So we are very, very grateful to the Kenya Space Agency for really continuing this support, because without it, maybe we will not be here today. So I would like to thank them very much. And as our ambassador has said, that they are looking forward to supporting this mission once more to make sure that we deliver the 3U CubeSat and build the capacity that is required at our university and within Kenya to actually provide services to our country from space and support our economy. So I would like to invite at this stage Dr. Kiruki to take us through a bit more about the missions that we are going to be undertaking with this particular satellite. Dr. Kiruki.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I will very briefly present on these missions. Prof, maybe you can mute. Okay, as Prof has presented, we will be building on our previous experiences in nanosatellite and CubeSat development. I'm not in a position to see the slide. Okay. And this experience is based on what we have had at the University of Nairobi and also the experience of our partners, including the University of Arizona, as well as the contribution of the Kenya Space Agency. And the recent satellite projects that we have been involved in, and Prof. Mbuthia has mentioned on that, he has presented on that. One is the next one, which was a 1U bench model. And on it, we had two missions, a camera mission and a LoRa mission. And then after the completion of that project, the Kenya Space Agency awarded us another grant to build now not a bench model, but a 3U engineering model. And the primary mission of this 3U engineering model, which we are calling the Tafiti project, is a multispectral camera. And these missions will go into the 3U flight model that will be launched now through this collaboration. And another project that has contributed to this particular project is the UNRELO. And this is also another research project at the University of Nairobi that has been sponsored by the Kenya Educational Network. And this is on a LoRa ground network. And therefore, the opportunity to launch the satellite gives us, an opportunity to actually now put this LoRa ground network to have a link to space. So the missions that will be carried on this 3U flight model, the NASPON 0G Peace Mission 2030, the primary mission, as Prof has presented, is the Peace Mission that is being championed by Namira Salim from the Space Trust. And this will, it involves the collection and the transmission of the peace messages from world leaders. And we will also be having secondary missions. That is a camera mission, a LoRa mission, and there will also be heliophysics science mission that will be championed by the University of Arizona. Next slide, please. The primary mission, which is the peace message mission, the Space Trust will champion the collection of these messages from world leaders. And the task now will be to, to have them as a mission on the satellite. And for this, we will require, in terms of the antenna and in terms of the communication that we'll need, we will have a high gain antenna, and this will be X-band, most for the HD videos, and also for the secondary mission, which will be a camera mission and the Earth observation mission. But we'll also be having the audio messages that can be transmitted via the UHF band. Next slide, please. And in terms of the ground station or the capacity that we have in Kenya, one, we do have another kind of collaboration with the Italians, who are very much well represented in this meeting. And this is through the Broglio Space Center in Malindi, that is Italian owned, of course, with the collaboration of the Kenyan government. And this Space Center offers us a very unique ground station that has all the bands that we'll require in this mission, the UHF, the VHF, the S-band. We will not need the S-band, but we'll have the X-band communication on board. But apart from that, we do have a ground station at the University of Nairobi. And this is as a result of the first satellite project that was sponsored and through the initiative of UNOOSA, that is the CubeSat. We have now a ground station at the University of Nairobi, but this one has the UHF and the VHF. But even more importantly, because we are now partners and working very closely with the Kenya Space Agency, they are also building capacity in the area of the ground stations. And because of the distance of the Broglio Space Center, which is in Malindi, Mombasa, and much of the University of Nairobi and also the Kenya Space Agency is based in the capital, Nairobi, then there is need to have a well-equipped ground station near these facilities in Nairobi, and therefore the Kenya Space Agency is working on building and constructing a ground station which will have UHF, VHF, and the X-band. So this will be very much, it comes in very handy for this project. So in terms of reception and downlinking and uplinking and communicating with the satellite, we will be very much covered with the ground station in Kenya. And of course, there is also the University of Arizona, and they have their own array of the ground station capacity. And when it comes to the dissemination of the peace messages, we are envisioning, of creating a website that, we can incorporate more players in the project, not only the engineering and Earth observation kind of students, but we also want to engage a wider community of students, including those from computer science, and therefore the dissemination of peace messages will open a wide array of activities that students can engage in, including creation of websites, mobile applications, and so forth. Next slide, please. So this marks the end of this presentation, and Prof has communicated our gratitude to all the players that have ensured that or have made this opportunity possible for us, and therefore from the University of Nairobi, we are very grateful. We are looking forward to working together with all our partners to make this project a success. Thank you.
Thank you very much from the two speakers from the University of Nairobi. So with this, our side event is done. I'd like to thank again all of our partners. So first of all to Avio and of course Arianespace, and to the ambassadors of Italy and Kenya for being part of this event. As I've told you, Access to Space for All, we have a lot going on, and of course we will keep updating you with the newest information of this team as well and the different opportunities. So please keep following us on social media. We will be sending you emails as well. So please keep in touch with the whole team. And yeah, thank you for joining. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.